asked him if he put out the same link. He didn't respond.
Apollo 13 flight controllers, listen up. Give me a go, no-go for launch. Booster.
Go.
Retro.
Go.
Vital.
We go fly.
Guidance.
Guidance go.
Procedures.
Go.
Inco.
Go.
FAO.
We are go.
Capcom.
We're go fly.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's entertainment.
What's going on, people? Glad to have you all here. Everything hopefully is working as it should. Things didn't want to start as they normally don't sometimes. So we are somewhat on time. Looks like we're off by 3 minutes, but that's all right. So I just had one of my favorite dudes in the world pop in here. So let's go ahead and add him here.
Yo.
What's going on, buddy?
How's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Getting some text messages from Laura. She wasn't feeling too great. Hot the live screen. Yes, you're live on my iPad. You're black. I should not be. Oh, I got to go. Hold on a second here. Got to go transition. If I can, the mouse is being played with. There we go. Boom. There we go. So we should have it there. I think it's working there. So we should be good. So not too bad, man. How about you?
Good weekend, you know. Didn't do much. I had a long week last week.
Really?
Yeah.
What
End of the
made
day
it-
on Friday, I stayed late to try to switch over a snowmelt control and hook it up as a zone system, 2 different controls. And it took a while because you had to rewire everything
Really?
because it was supposed to snow over the weekend, and then it didn't snow, so I stayed for no reason.
Yeah, it was actually pretty nice yesterday. I think it was the 55-degree range. How was it there?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little chilly yesterday. I could see how, and it rained quite a bit, so I could see why they were saying it was going to snow. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's not been bad here. I've been on call, and I had one call I had to go run yesterday. It was on at a factory. The water heater was getting up to 300 and some degrees, and they're like, somebody's going to get scalded. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I end up going out there, and it had 2 steam heat exchangers going into this 1943 or 48 big old monster, like probably 10-foot diameter, about probably 12 foot, 10 foot tall, big old water tank with these two monster steam plates going into it. And it had pneumatic controls opening and closing the valves. And basically, I've never been there before, so I was kind of going off the guy that usually is. And luckily, it worked out okay. It ended up just being some linkage on the valve that was off. So I videoed that, which they had the air dryer in there for the air compressor, which it was loud. Oh, you couldn't hear crap. It was pretty good and all, but that was the only call.
More like their sinks and that type of hot water.
Yeah, they do food, and so they use it to clean the machinery and stuff like that to disinfect and things. So they usually run 140-ish area, but not 300, 200.
Right.
And
so they probably have a much higher relief valve than.
Well, that's what bothered me. I get there and I'm looking at the relief valve, and I mean it's a monster. They don't have no tube on it going to the ground, so if it would release, it would have blown it all over my face. And I'm thinking, dude, I called the guy that usually takes them and said, this ain't cool, man. What's up with this? And he goes, is it temperature or pressure? I'm like, I have no idea. I have to get up on a ladder to freaking see it. It's too high up. So I said, that needs to be fixed. So I told their maintenance guys, and we tightened up the linkage to the valve, and everything seemed to be fairly okay after that, so I figured we'll get it another day. It's working now, so. But yeah, I want to say hi to some of the guys. Yeah, Dead Pixel, it was a while ago. We got her up and going. Blue Collar, what's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. If you guys haven't seen his channel, he's got some really good production value out there. Blue Collar Biceps, I believe is what it was called. I'm trying to find him on the screen here. But he's got a channel, he's got some pretty good information on there and stuff, so make sure you check him out. But why aren't you talking to the camera? That's why I had the screens where I did. I don't know why she don't come down here and just yell at me in person, you know? She wasn't feeling very good, so she didn't feel like doing it. You got to remember, I'm trying to do things that I'm not usually doing, so she's going to direct you, which draws your attention off what you're trying to do anyway, to at least look professional. And then it's like, oh, let me stop what I'm doing and talk to you. You got to love it. So you got to try this, man. It's fun.
What's that?
Doing it all by yourself.
I do that every week.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, those other losers aren't doing nothing, are they?
They just
Why do you keep looking down? Why does she have to be so judgmental? She's so judgmental. She don't realize that's what we're doing most of the time. Makes you look disinterested. Well, when I am not seeing all my controls in front of me, and why she wouldn't take that on when we are talking off air is beyond me. Quite interesting. So, anyhow, but yeah, it's one of those days. I hadn't luckily had any calls today, so hopefully I don't have none. I'm done tomorrow morning, so I'll be all right with that. So. How's it going out there, Rich and HVAC Master and Jessica and the chronic flute? She's got the chronic going on. Chris Young, Alexander. Who else we got going on out there? Chris Young. So thanks for stopping in, guys. I appreciate you coming in. So yeah, did 2 videos this week. Left one rip this morning, which was one I had from like July. There was only one good thing I felt as though in that video, but I hadn't gotten to record a whole lot this week, so I didn't have a lot new. So basically I've been holding on to it. I'm like, well, it's got some good information. It just, it's kind of drawn out, unfortunately. And then the other one I did on Wednesday, which I'd have to even remember what it was about. But so, yeah, just one of them things. So did you have anything going on this weekend that you did?
No, not at all. We had the in-laws over today, so that was fun. But yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, we're getting
relax.
kind of geared up for that. See if I can get over to my thing. There we go. The no cooling and the Manitowoc ice machine. Okay, yeah. It's funny because sometimes you got to try to remember what it is you did. You're supposed to have notes and stuff, and sometimes I just don't do that. We wing it here. That's the way I roll. Manitowoc ice machine. So yeah, that was a really nice machine. It was pretty clean. Did you get to check any of them out or anything?
I did not watch any. I did not watch much of YouTube whatsoever this week.
I don't blame you. If I wasn't stuck here, I probably wouldn't have either, but I watched pretty much everything I shouldn't be watching that either depresses you or one way or the other. It's just, it's like I got to get away from some of this crap. It just kind of gets old after a while. So
I was just beat every night this week. I was beat. This weekend, I was just kind of, I don't know, vegging out.
yeah.
But yeah, late nights. Did a boiler, kind of repiping the near boiler piping this week. It was a big boiler. We took out almost a 300,000 cast iron. So, and it's cold, so you got to try to get the new one in and piped and working, so they have heat in their house and everything.
Yeah. How big was that?
Almost 300,000 that was in the house. We downsized it significantly though. It was like I think went down to almost a 200.
About 200 down?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the old thumb method. We'll judge it from the roadway about what size we need. 500,000 ought to take care of it.
I mean,
we can just...
I think the one that we put in is actually oversized as well too. But the thing is, when you have big, main loops or like mains in the basement, right? It takes a while to heat that water up. So we had 3 2-inch zones running off with 3 different pumps, and the only thing I was worried about is like how quickly it would heat up the water in each zone. I'm not worried about I think we could have easily gotten by with like 120,000 for the house or 150,000, but it's like every time you turn on the thermostat, if it's in setback or whatever else, you're gonna wait 40 minutes for all the water in the loops to heat up. I don't know.
Were they just like open and closed zone valves or circulator pumps? Or how was it wired up?
Circulator pumps.
So like one for each zone area, so like have multiples or what?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah. So the boiler just stayed hot all the time then? Or was it a high efficiency one?
No, it was cast iron. It was the old one would heat up like lickety split, but that's why we only brought it down to almost a 200,000, just because I wanted to make sure it would heat up quick enough.
Mm-hmm. So the new one was cast iron too.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
but I've had two where you size it kind of for the house, and you have big pipes, 2.5-inch pipes or whatever. And then you're just sitting there and the thing's running and it's running and it's running, and the temperature of the water is just slowly creeping up forever. You know what I mean? So yeah, once it's hot, you're good. But getting to that point, I don't know, could take some time.
It's one of those things where you're like, I can't send this thing back now that I've installed it. I hope I got the right size.
Yeah.
You got to love it. They're slowly trickling in. I mean, it's quite as busy as what we normally are. It's getting there. Got a few
They're all
new
here
ones.
for your wife.
What's that? I know. It's honestly, I think that's what I'm going to find out. If we don't get much above 40, we'll know it's all her, and I'll just freaking not do it no more and let her do it. So she was down here doing some recordings for her grandma's nursing home or whatever, and was kind of playing with my mixer and was running things through the computer and stuff, and was going to record some stuff for them so they could play it for Christmas and stuff, and that's what she was down here doing earlier. So, yeah. We can take calls or whatever. We can do that here in a little bit or what have you. She's like, you need to do some calls and stuff. Like, yeah. I'll give it that plug in there. That way we can do it through there if we're going to do it. That way it's... sounds the best as it did at all. Of course, I've got I thought you used to be able to log out of Facebook, and it's nonstop. Boom, boom, boom. And it'll vibrate, vibrate, vibrate. It's kind of crazy. Too many things turned on, I think, is what's going on.
Yeah, turn off all your notifications.
But see, if I turn it on airplane mode, it would turn off the phone. That wouldn't work. And I'd have to sign out of everything, which I don't know how easy that would be. It's kind of like just close everything. Junk. So, but yeah, it's just one of them weeks. I wasn't real hip happening tonight, honestly. So I thought, well, we'll at least come on for a little while. If things work out great, we'll do it. And if not, we'll wrap it up early. We'll kind of leave it play in the viewers' hands here, whether or not they've got anything for us to kind of keep us going there, because I always kind of enjoy talking to them anyhow. So we'll see if we get anything coming in here. Don't look like there's a whole lot coming in for me. There's the woman. So she obviously wants me to answer this. Let's bring that up to there. Yes.
I'd like to order pizza, please.
What kind of pizza do you want?
Anything without pineapple.
Okay, well, we don't serve anything without pineapple, so what else would you like? Would you like a toy Nerf gun?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to order pizza, please.
Well, that's kind of weird.
What?
You've got your computer turned up, so it's starting to re-loop back through your phone.
I know, I just turned it back down. How are you doing, Adam?
Excellent. How about you? How's the COVID going?
Oh, just delightful. I get to go back to work tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Finally. Working from home sucks.
She don't like hanging out with the dogs. They tend to drive her crazy all day.
They do.
My grumpy pug, which is back there right now, he demands a bone, and he will not go away until you give him a bone. He's pretending he's not paying attention, but he's definitely paying attention. So he's been a little pain.
So someone wants to know how to size an expansion valve.
How do you size an expansion valve? I'd say you look at the chart. I mean, it's going to have a chart there for it. I mean, it's going to depend on what type of refrigerant you're using, what you're using it for, refrigeration, air conditioning, stuff like that. I mean, that's generally what we do, is just go through the charts and stuff.
Oh, speaking of which, JD, you need to call in, because I know Adam helped you with that problem you were having, and maybe you could explain that problem you talked about last week. You could explain it to everybody, because I'm sure everybody's dying to know what happened.
What problem was that? I don't recall.
JD was asking, it was about his, I don't remember what unit it was. Was it that train unit? I think that you guys are talking him through.
Yeah, I think Adam was helping him with that part.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see whatever happened with that.
I don't remember what I had for dinner last night. You're asking me what we talked about last week on the show?
Yeah, he said he'll call in and make the show awkward again. So I'm going to let you guys go, so that way JD can call in and you guys can all be awkward together.
I don't even know what my phone number is. I have to
I posted it. I took care of it.
Well, see, I don't have that thing pulled up, because if I don't have it pulled up, then
Okay, well then get it pulled up there.
Okay, Chuck.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up with you there, Chuck.
I gotta find out what it was even called. So
it's called Google Phone.
No, it's called Voice.
Okay, well there you go. I'm glad I could help.
Yeah, now it's up and going.
Okay, all right, bye.
Bye.
See ya.
See, we need call screeners. That's what we need. I think that's, definitely a thing you're going to need if you're going to do call-ins and stuff. So looks like I don't see that she posted somewhere in the chat area. Yeah, she did. 937-589-3780 on your hit line. So craziness. Stump the HVAC technician, or the HVAC answer man. So, got a lot of conversations going on out there, it looks like. Cornell. So, wasn't a whole lot. I'm sorry.
I was just going to tell you a story about today.
Sure, go ahead.
I had a customer call me today, which she's not like a regular customer. It's like one of the rich areas. I don't know if you deal with this at all, but there's a couple different areas where we have like guys that are like handlers for customers that they call us instead of the customers calling us. It's kind of a weird situation
where they have a relationship with someone they trust, and they just have them get them done everything they need done.
Exactly.
Yep.
So he called me and she called me, and they never call me, which is weird. So I answer, and she said she was trying to bleed her radiators on the 3rd floor, and she opened up the bleed valve, and she said a lot of water shot out everywhere, and it, like, you know, I'm like, what? Hold on. So I come to sort things out that she realized that she didn't have enough pressure upstairs to bleed anything out, which is kind of smart on her behalf. It's like, you know, a lot of techs wouldn't understand that because there's not air coming out. So her, instead of her pressure reducing valve feeding, she doesn't have the FB32 or it's the whatever the one is without the quick fill. So there's
Just
a
their
bypass.
usual one. Yeah.
So she opened the bypass, and then she's like, well, I closed it, and then the relief valve tripped everywhere. And I'm trying to think, that's odd. And I'm walking her through it, and I'm asking her about the expansion tank. Does it feel like it's full if you knock on it? I don't know. And then, did you shut off the bypass when you went upstairs to bleed it? Yeah. So I talked to the guy, you know, the handler. I said, go over there. And she did this twice. And I'm like, is she looking at the right pressure gauge when she's doing this? And he's like, she said she's been doing this for 30 years. She knows what she's doing. I'm like, just get the thing to 15 PSI with the bypass and then go upstairs and bleed it. He did. He's like, on the phone with me for like 25 minutes. Yeah, it's running fine. It's just staying at 15 PSI. So he was arguing with me. He's like, the relief valve's bad. I'm telling you the relief valve's bad. I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen a boiler empty out with the relief valve being bad. Usually it just like pisses out on the floor a little bit, you know, if the relief goes bad.
Or it trips a little too early or something, or don't reset. But I mean, even then it doesn't like nonstop type thing.
Right.
Thanks, Rich. I don't know why, but it's like you can't respond on the Streamlabs unless you sign in, and I'm not really sure how you sign in. And I can't stream in the StreamYard one. It's not even showing up there. So it's like, okay, I hate to click on sign in to try to figure that out. I'm not even sure where it would sign in at, honestly. So I may have to visually or audibly respond to you guys unless I go through my phone or something. So, which I guess I could do. So you're going to send her a bill for that, or you're just going to be a good, generous guy?
No, I'm not. I was just trying not to go there because it was an hour away. You know?
Yeah, that sucks. Let's see if we can kill that back down. Yeah, that kind of makes it difficult to, let's see, go to your channel, go to this one here. Of course, I'll have to pause this thing. There's pause. Now I can respond. There we go. Yep, now it'll work. Cool.
Wow, I have 560 zip screws.
That's cool. What are you going to do with them all?
I don't know. What do you do with them? Screw some shit, I guess. I don't know.
I guess. I don't hardly use them as much as I used to. Now it's all freaking, I use more 1/4 inch freaking refrigerant stems. I do anything. I did get a new tool, finally. Since we canceled our Christmas party, they gave us like $200 to spend on whatever we want in addition to the money they already gave us. So I've kind of been spending it out of my own pocket through the year. So I've had this accumulation of money. So I ordered the Hillmore expander, and I added the 1/4 inch copper, the 1/4 inch adapter to it, so I could do 1/4 inch copper expansion. And it says in instructions that it will not split or does not split. And then even if you have some problems, just do it halfway, release it, rotate it a little bit, and redo it. I made probably 15 or 20 of them freaking expansions, and all maybe 3 or 4 split. So I'm going to be giving TrueTech Tools a call tomorrow, asking them what's going on.
Sometimes I do it 3 times. I release it 3 times, sometimes even 4 times. Like 3/8, like, if you're doing 7/8, I just go all the way. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, anything bigger seemed fine.
The more you have to move it around.
Well, I was experimenting, and I ended up taking my hand torch and warmed up the 1/4 inch, and then I almost could go full bore without slowing down at all. And then it worked good because I really don't want to send it back. I've got the spin swedges, and that's what I've been using all along. And then I thought, well, I'm using a bunch of scrap copper here. Maybe this copper's hardened, so I'll try to get some newer stuff off the truck. And I made some little couplings and things like that. And those kind of split a little bit too. And basically, it was kind of like, this sucks because I've been wanting this thing forever. And my God, delivered, even with, you know, the small picture discount, I mean, you're still looking at like $412. That's a lot of freaking money. When my spin swedge for what, $89 does all of them from quarter all the way up to 7/8.
Does it the spin do quarter?
Yeah, it
I have
does
the record
quarter.
seal. I don't remember how low. I've only used it a handful of times. One thing I have to say about the spin or rector seal, whatever, the swedges are nice for 3/8. They're like nice and very deep, as opposed
Yeah, I like
to
the deep.
they're super shallow. You got to be careful with them, you know.
Yeah, I'm a little kind of disappointed because I mean, I have the Hillmore bender, and when I looked at all of them, that was the one everyone said had the least problems. And you know, I have problems with some copper, but I think it's the poor quality copper. Seems like those line sets that have that non-rip insulation, it's like they put the money in the insulation and cheapened up on the copper, and I'll get little ripples in the 90 sometimes, but otherwise, if you have some high quality copper, it seems to do really sweet on it. Even 7/8 will do a nice perfect 90. So, you know, and when I was looking at them, I kept comparing it to the Navac has one, Black Max CPS has got one, and I looked at that iSwiss or whatever it is, and it was like, well, you know, I'm gonna have a better resale value with the Hillmore. They've got the most heads. It goes all the way up to 2 1/4 or something like that, which when in the world are you going to actually use that? So I thought, you know, you're going to have to, any copper that big is going to be hard copper, so it's going to have to be softened anyway. So it's like, well, so I got playing with the, like I said, the 1/4 inch. I experimented. I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and warm up like 3 inches of it, and I'll do multiples and see if it, you know, does it only work perfect when it's hot still? Or did I change the molecular structure of the copper after I heated it up, and then it'll work fine after that? So it seemed like it still did pretty good, but yeah, I did I reamed it out really good, and then, you know, I kind of wiggled it into the hole so it got in there, and then I went up, you know, I kind of went slow. I went super slow. I went fast. I tried all different kinds of ways, and I just noticed sometimes, you know, you look inside there and it's all rough inside there from like where you deburred it and everything else. I was a little bit, I'm like, dang, do I send it back or do I keep it? Because it's like, I do more 1/4 inch swedges than I do anything, because I'm, you know, for the refrigerant taps for when I chop off, you know, the suction line tap, and I put it on there because I like this best because they braze on. And you gonna come down here, are you? Yeah. Well, you're gonna come in here in her pajamas. So, yeah, she says the view sucks, so she's coming on. So, yeah, that's great. But yeah, it's kind of like, well, oh, there we go. Ugh. Well, guys, here you go. Now I know why you guys are really here. So, she's here now. Pajamas and all. Yep. So, huh? Yeah. So we're at 49, so let's watch this. It'll probably freaking jump up to 70 something here for long. How much you want to bet? Got the freaking dog's ears in it. So, but yeah, I was kind of like, so you've got that tool then? The Hillmore?
Yeah, I got the Hillmore.
So did you buy any of the extra heads or just the ones that came with it?
No, I just have the standard 3/8 through 7/8. I'm kind of thinking about ditching it though. Like, not ditching it all around, but I'm thinking about just using the spin for a while.
Wow, that makes me feel really great.
And just
That makes me feel really great because I just spent all that money on it.
No, I mean, I've been using the Hillmore, and before that, prior to that, I had the old hand crank Yellow Jacket. I've been using that for probably both of those for 15 years. And I'm just kind of sick. The only reason why I want to stop using it is because I'm sick of carrying so much crap around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still have my Yellow Jacket from mid-90s, and it swedges and flares, and honestly, that thing works perfect. And I felt kind of like you know, when I bought that CPS, or I think it's CPS, no, it's black, I forget, that orbital flare tool I've shown before. That thing does a little bit better flare because it's orbital versus a traditional straight down. And I bought that one for a good price on eBay and stuff. And so I felt like, man, now I'm carrying 2 of them, and I hardly ever use that Yellow Jacket. But that Yellow Jacket, you know, it freaking works when I need it. So if I have a weird situation where I don't have the right size, that thing has got all the sizes there. And so now with the spin swedge, I mean, yeah, there was times it kind of sucked because like anything small, I usually had to chuck it up into a block to hold it because it's too hot and it would spin on me. And then sometimes the swedges would like go at a little bit of a funky angle. You know, not that nobody cares, but you know, it's like, eh. So that's why I thought, well, maybe I'll go ahead and get that because I was looking at all different things. And it's like, well, I could buy a TIG welder. I don't know if they'd let me use my money for that. I found one I kind of wanted to get, but I was like, eh. So I don't know. I got it. They said it was gonna be 5 to 10 days, and I got it by Friday. And I got the other thing that just came in stock. I got that like the next day, which is pretty surprising how quick.
The one thing that I've with any of the regular, you know, expander tools like the old Yellow Jacket with the red handle or the Hillmore, what I've noticed is when you're using the small sizes like the 3/8, if you don't have everything supported exactly properly, and you start brazing, what happens is it starts annealing the copper and it starts kind of almost falling out of the joint. So you have to pretty much make sure you support, especially if you're doing vertical, like all of, you know, each pipe very well, so it doesn't start like falling out. Just because I think the hub on the swedge is fairly small, you know?
Yeah, that, and it just looks kind of thin. So I figure what I'll end up having to do is probably braze over the outside of it as an extra precaution to strengthen the walls is what I was thinking I may end up having to do, which kind of sucks. I mean, I end up going balls to the wall on the 3/8 and it seemed to do fine. But I mean, you could tell it kind of like had a little bit of that octagon look to it, but you know, that one's not so bad. I think just one rotation and you'll be fine with it.
I split 3/8 all the time with it.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, 'cause sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't split one. I'm like, I'm not gonna move it. I'm just gonna go for it with 3/8. And then I sure should I split it.
And those are the 2 sizes that's got the disclaimers on there, the 1/4 and the 3/8. And that, what I thought was funny was I thought, well, I'm gonna go online and look at all the different videos on it, and almost everything's 7 years old. There's a couple that are like 3 or 4 years old, and I'm thinking, okay, you guys are saying that without splitting it, blah blah blah, ours is the best, blah blah blah, and you know, it's just like, well, you guys are obviously lying a little bit. That I-Swiss or what have you, that thing, I swear is a total clone of it. Yeah, Ray, I just used my hand torch and I didn't get it rosy red or nothing like that. I literally was on it probably for 10 seconds at the most, and it worked great. And I thought, well, you know what? Chances are I'm probably going to be having my torch there with me when I'm going to do that anyhow, because that's obviously why I'm swedging it. So whether I use my real torch or my hand torch, I can heat up just a little bit for, you know, overall I think it'll work out great, but because I do a lot of little miniature couplings and stuff like that when I chop out a dryer or whatever. So I don't know. Every time I try to get something new, I end up sometimes going back to the old things. Who knows? Well, you got a couple extra people there just because you're back.
Mm-hmm.
I feel special now.
Yep, you're real special, babe.
Yeah. Well, she didn't want to do it, and I was like, well, they're waiting for you. You got to do it. And then I went and got the pizza, which didn't have no pineapple on it, but well, you sat still. So, yeah. You guys got any questions on any of the videos I did here recently? The ice machine or anything? Or does most everybody mainly do HVAC? Or what do we got going on out there? Because it gives us something to kind of discuss or what have you. Had a few different things, whether or not I checked the starting amperage after I put the hard start on, which that little booster thing, like I disclaimed in the video, it's just a generic one. The place, you know, they usually are very particular about what they spend on things. And basically they're conventional computer guys, so they kind of do a lot of research and kind of figure it all out on their own type deal. So it yeah, they I don't know. The whole thing's very tight budgeted. So I was looking for the easiest way to do that without, I'm going to put her down. She's driving me nuts. Eli. So yeah, he'll come down here and sit there. So yeah. So you got anything major planned for tomorrow?
I don't know yet. We might have an air handler to change, but that might be interesting because it's one of these little short old Bryants, 30-some inch tall Bryant. So that's gonna be fun to try to make it work with a new air handler.
Is it a residential unit or
Yep.
attic, basement?
It's like a outside closet for a
Oh.
condo building.
I always loved working on those in the wintertime. You
Yep.
half-time leave the door open so you freeze to death while you're servicing it. Gotta love it.
Yep.
JD, I buy tools sometimes quite often. Lately, I can't think of anything to buy. I still have another $110, $20 to spend yet. So I'm trying to think of something I might be needing. I pretty much am happy with my bag. I pretty much got all new cutters and things like that. So I just really haven't thought of anything in particular. Maybe a new GPS or something. What? What?
She's taken over the bed, so he's vacated.
That's why I told you he was coming down here.
Dave says I should put a Payne unit back in. I'm wondering, is the newer Payne and Bryant models, are they as short as the old air handlers?
I mean, Payne and Carrier are going to be the same thing.
Right, but I'm wondering, it's a Bryant, the old one, but it's like probably 30 years old. The one that's there is like 34 inches tall.
It's only 34?
Yeah.
That's pretty small.
Yeah, that's why I think it'd be a fun one.
I think they got some smaller ones. I mean, obviously I don't do a bunch, and lately I've not been doing much service on the Resi, but they've got some smaller ones. I mean, where, you know, it's just the blower and the coil, and I would say it's probably somewhere in that ballpark. So yeah, probably 30 something to 42-ish, something like that.
But we need, got to put a heat strip on it.
Yeah, but that'll be in the same spot. I mean, most of them I've always seen just have an empty blank spot there. You just got to take the panel thing off. Then you're looking just for basic one?
Yeah, nothing special.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say you probably get it no problem. Tools are a waste of money if you can't be fixed with an 8-in-1. I don't like the 8-in-1. I really like my 11-in-1 best. Even though I liked having the dedicated 1/4 and 5/16, but that I'm not happy with that one. I liked my old one, which I have it still, but you know. What else do we got? We got a few different things. What type of tools?
What type of tools do your employer provide to you, or Adam? What do you provide to your employees? My new helper, I told him I was going to give him $150 a month towards tools, and he has never asked for anything. I bought him a Vito bag, and he's never like tried to do, you know, buy anything, give me receipts. So
Wow.
the other day we were at a supply house. I'm like, "Do you need this? Do you need this?" I start going through all the tools. He's like, "No, I have it. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Do you have receipts? No. Okay, cool.
Well, you're
We're
paying
good.
him too much then. We get 500 for our tool allowance, which I've never worked anywhere that gave us that. The best we ever got was we'll replace it if it was broke, and we get to dictate things, even though they usually didn't. And so, I mean, far as the tool thing, it's pretty cool. Far as what they provide for me, they give me the truck, and they give me a recovery machine, a vacuum pump. It's the first place I've ever worked that gives me a weight scale, which I've got. You know, I've got my own. I got 2 vacuum pumps. I've got my own nitrogen gauge, my own torches. I've got all that stuff. But if they're going to provide it, I'm going to wear out their stuff before I wear out mine. But they provide the torches, the nitrogen regulator, which the one I use in the videos, the field piece vacuum pump, all that crap's mine. They just gave me a basic regulator. The vacuum pump, that older JB one, it's a very basic one with no gas ballast. They provide that. What else is there? Now, far as our shop, I mean, we could start a rental mart. I mean, we have everything under the sun. I mean, we have probably 7 or 8 lifts. We've got genies. We've got our own crane. We've got welders. We've got everything. I mean, we could start a rental mart. We have every tool under the sun that you might want. I mean, it's like the boss has been looking for things to spend money on, and I mean, we've got every tool under the sun if you need it. So you don't have to buy fancy things. I mean, they've got it if you want to use it. So yeah.
Yamo's here.
Yamo, what up, dog?
You need to show him.
Show who? They're sleeping.
No, they're not. They're running around.
Eli, come here.
This is for you, Yamo. This is the grumpy one, Eli. He's very grumpy. Here, move your mic. There you go. He's very grumpy.
Say hi to him. Yeah, this one's the grumpy butt. He's the one that has got the disformed paws and got back issues. And then the other one down there, he's the year older one, but usually he's in good shape.
Here, Pugsley.
Here, Pugsley. He's the little heavier one, Yamo.
He's thick.
Yeah, very thick. But he's the one with all the good paws. He just isn't as pretty as Eli, but
He's a purebred.
but he's smart.
He's a very good boy.
Yep, he never does anything wrong. So, and then the Frenchie, she's a little mean one. She'll beat up Eli. She's not very nice to him. She'll bite his ear. And they'll nearly kill each other. So Pugsley lets her do it. So that's for Yamo. Wow, talking about the Pug's got us 62 people.
Yeah.
Amazing. Screw HVAC. Let's talk about dogs.
You need to take some calls.
Okay. If you guys want to call in, our phone lines are open.
Do it.
We're going to, we're going to keep our calls short. That way we don't bore nobody out there. So don't be offended if we try to rush you off and stuff after a short time.
Or you could just do multiple people like you did last time.
Yeah, to a point. So the number,
I already posted it.
she posted it. So if you guys want to call in and ask some questions or tell us how your day's going or how your Christmas or COVID or whatever has been going, 937-589-3780. So, who else we got there?
Ryan Huseman had a question for you.
Yeah.
He said he worked on a unit with corner ground power supply last week. Have you ever ran into that? And if so, could you give him some insight on it, tips and such?
Corner ground.
No idea.
Probably should plug my computer in.
Might be a good idea there. So.
That's why she was acting a little glitchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it slows down the processor.
That's out of my league.
Yeah, well, this thing is a power-hungry hog, so if it's not plugged in, you can't really edit a video with it, and it'll start stuttering. That was why she was acting stuttery earlier, and now I know. When you say corner ground, are you talking like a delta T or a delta Y or a Y delta type thing? Or I never heard corner ground. So.
Why don't you call us, Huseman? You've got the number.
Yeah. Call in. So. Yeah, Ray. Around here, from the union guys I know, anything that doesn't fit into a 14-inch toolbox, the union has to provide. So it's kind of interesting thing.
Chris was asking, you have your own crane, ?
Yeah. Yeah, we got our own crane. I forget how many ton it is, but it's one looks like a big truck with a big old boom on it. And I forget the specs on it. We got, that. We got 4-wheel drive lifts. We got regular little lifts. We've got all kinds of different stuff. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, this guy is a good business person. So, I mean, he's really invested well. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So his son's our vice president now. There's somebody right there. Let's bring him on.
What do you think of low water cutoffs?
The digital ones?
If you want to protect your boiler, right?
Yeah, we got them every now and again. So let's take the call line here. Who do we have on the phone?
Hey, Rick, it's Ryan.
What's up, Ryan? So what are you talking
How
about?
you doing, man?
Not too bad.
Well, it was good. It was a three-phase, 240 volts in the disconnect. When I opened it up, two of the legs were fused. The other leg was grounded directly to the disconnect. On the the ground lug. And between each leg, 240 volts. So I called the guy that was working on it before me. He said, be real careful with this system. It's a corner ground, Delta T. So I briefly did some Googling, and didn't really tell me much. So basically what I ended up doing at the end of the day was locking out the breaker down in the store. But I've never seen it before. I've heard of it. I've always heard it called corner ground. But basically one of the legs was grounded and hot. So what I can only assume is but the thing that got me was I couldn't pick it up with, that grounded leg to ground. I wasn't getting 0 volts. I was just curious if you've ever run into that, or
We've had high legs
any of you guys.
where, when you check to ground, you might have 120 some volts on each leg, but on the one leg, what are you doing?
That's my high leg.
Yeah, that's nasty on bottom. So the where the one leg might be 100 and I forget what it is. Actually, it might be like 200 volts. It's high. I mean, it's real high voltage, and if you aren't careful, like we had, there was a person once that it was 3-phase box, and he just moved the breakers down one notch on the single 120 volt circuits, and he switched one of the 120 volt circuits to that leg and blew the appliance up. Where you're fine between leg to leg, but you're not talking that.
No, this is 3-phase.
How can it be grounded?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It can't be.
I don't know. It is. I wish I'd have gotten some video of this.
So like the breaker is a 3-phase breaker?
Yes. The breaker's 3-phase. And when I shut it off, because I was like very leery of this. I marked all the disconnects, caution, corner ground is what I was told. And when I Googled it, there's plenty of stuff there. I've, done some research here on the weekend, but I had a busy weekend. And I just figured, you're a lot smarter than me. I figured maybe you'd run into that and see what you had thought about it.
It just don't make sense. Because, if it's grounded, it's grounded. So how did you get to measure that leg? If it was grounded, you'd have no differential.
Well, with power on and the disconnect pulled, I have power between leg 1 and leg 2, leg 1 and leg 3, which is grounded. And what also was weird was everything in the unit, that was tied to that leg looked like it was shorted to the ground. I thought my blower motor is bad. And I pulled all the wires out of the blower motor. I tested the wires at the blower motor, not grounded. I thought the transformer was shorted to ground, but it wasn't. Once I pulled that wire off of that grounded leg, and it's 3-phase, and this unit had a bad compressor. That's what I was there to do.
Now, what happens when you measure it at the breaker box? Is all legs equal and to ground?
Yes.
And in between them, they're all the same 230, 240-ish area?
Mm-hmm. I've never seen it. I've been doing this a while. I've never run into it. And let me tell you, it made me real nervous. That's why I just killed the power to the whole unit. I had contactors replaced.
I just looked up at a couple different websites. There's stuff about it calling corner ground. Corner grounded C-phase dilemma, where it shows A to B to ground would be 240, or C to ground is 0.
It's weird. It's nothing I ever saw. It made me real nervous. So I clearly marked everything on that roof. I was talking to the guy. He's like, "Be careful with that." I was like, "Why didn't you mark it?"
Yeah, I'll have to do some research on that. I haven't had that around here.
Yeah, that's my big question for the day.
Yeah, you got me on that.
Saving
one.
it.
Yep.
Saving it. I was waiting for you.
Snapped it off.
Anyway.
In my turbine. I have no idea.
I've never run into it, and let me tell you, I was little leery to go sticking my fingers in there, even with the disconnect pulled, because only 2 of the legs were fused, or disconnected. And I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. I'm sure there's something on YouTube. There's always something on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just trying
This is one of those days I was like, man, I wish I would have gotten some video of this.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Anyway.
That was like this week. I recorded some of the things I was doing this week was like putting parts on and stuff. And it was like either I didn't record the first half of it. So it's like, okay, I'm just coming back and throwing on a start component or something stupid. And it's like, this don't make very good video. And so that's why I've kind of like these last 2 have been things that I've had set on my computer that I just wasn't happy with, but I had to have something because I'm trying to keep on schedule. And
Sure.
it sucks.
I enjoyed the last couple videos.
And that's what I wondered if, because everybody's got different feelings and opinions on things and what, is interesting to them. So I'm very judgmental of myself. And it's like, well, nobody will want to see this. And then, they end up liking it or something. So it's like, well, that was one of those weirdo things where I was on another call that was a commercial app, and they had that same flipping disconnect breaker box, which I always kind of liked them because it gave a little extra protection, yet it was still a breaker. But when I pulled it off, it had the same freaking problem behind there too. And if I remember right, it actually made me misdiagnose something because of it, because I didn't know it. Yet my voltages and stuff looked fairly fine. And it's like, well, now I keep an eyeball.
I wonder if that's just a design flaw in those, the way they connect in the back. It's hard to see from the video, but with it being all burnt up in the back.
It's the same thing you'd see in a normal square D box, the QO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just the bar and then the little spread apart wings. I mean, honestly, I think the home line actually has a better grip on it than what the freaking QO does, even though the QO is supposed to be better. So I don't know. Whatever.
No, I enjoyed the videos. That ice machine, I always, whenever I get ice, I always give it a glance before I put the soda in there.
Usually you can't tell, though. That's the only thing that's kind of interesting. It's like, I'm trying to think at that place there where that one was at. I think I've been to a couple of them where I knew that I hadn't serviced it for a long time. And it's like, I always drink water most of the time when we go out, just because, the less calories. And it's like, I know it's like, I don't want warm water. So it's like, screw it. I'm just going to drink it, whatever. I just not think about it.
It'll build up your immune system there.
And it's not like the pipes are clean coming from the city. I mean, that's, old piping.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be, nasty. Fish are peeing in the water anyway. So what's it matter?
All right, man. Well, thanks. I'm going to do some research on that too.
Do a video on it.
Let you know if I
maybe you can
maybe I will.
Freaking put out a little bulletin board and stuff, and maybe you'll teach everybody something.
Yeah.
Might save somebody's life.
Right,
you never know. So that'd be cool, man.
Well, that's why I wanted it marked at least. I was like, hey, at the very least, you could have wrote on this,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, all right, guys. I'm going to just watch the show now. Have a good evening.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
See ya. Bye. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. Never claimed to be 100% Mr. Know-It-All by any stretch of the imagination, guys. I haven't heard of that one before. I think it also might have something to do with old city and new city type thing. We don't have that.
Trip the breaker.
That's what I don't understand. On mine or his?
No, on his.
That's what I'm wondering. I don't. Did he even have a problem, or I thought it was just he got his attention drawn to it that it to be careful because it was something weird or something.
I don't think he said what the problem was.
That's what. Yeah, I got focusing on it and wasn't 100% absorbing everything. Who was that, Ray? That was Ryan from Hughesman. Yep. So I'm kind of curious, Ray. Why don't you call in? You've been a long time watcher. The phone number's there. I wouldn't mind talking to you and a couple of other guys that's been around for quite a while as viewers and stuff. It'd be kind of interesting to hear your voices. So Laura can run it again there, 937-589-3780. So If you want to call in on that, that'd be cool.
Grounded micromatic. Interesting.
What's that?
Here.
Hear what?
Here. Share. How do you
Share.
see it?
There, in front of your face.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Rick's not understanding this.
That too small? There you go.
Okay, I'm trying to get down to it here. She's moving the mouse.
I'm not touching it. You are.
This mouse moves, and you cause my thing to move.
And I'm not.
See, it's
touching
moving again. Add to the stream. There it is.
Go.
And is that big enough for people to see?
Because it's gonna get.
Yeah, that's all the bigger it can get. So, Macromatic phase monitor relay provides the same reliable protection on the corner grounded Delta systems. Okay, so there. Okay, I have seen something weird like this before. How can you do that? Huh. Yeah, that is a really odd one. It makes you always wonder, why did they choose to do that? Dealing with an otherwise floating output.
I was reading on another website where it said this is very common in industrial and older systems for commercial.
You know what, though? They're saying implemented by ground in any one of the three phases of the transformer secondary corners to delta. Delta's still going to be on the live side of things. So is it? But yeah, it's going down to the actual ground symbol. Huh. In order to apply the phase monitor relay in any type of installation, it's important to realize that
The guys in the chat saying it's like bonding a transformer.
Yeah,
Does that help any?
I guess, but a transformer has like a common and a hot. That's all three legs are hot. Even though, yeah, because there's no neutral. Not really. So, I don't know. That's interesting. Very interesting.
Why wouldn't, Chris Young is saying you should ask Mr. Clive, Big Clive. He would be a good one. I just don't understand how it wouldn't trip the breaker.
I don't either. It would have to have some sort of load or something. That's why I'm wondering. But since it's got the ground symbol there, I'm going to say that it's got to be going straight to ground, which, unless it's isolated, what?
What was that called again?
Corner ground.
What was it? A bonding ground? What kind of ground?
Corner
ground. You gonna call Clive up, are you, and ask him?
No, someone else.
Clive, don't watch me. I'm too small. I ain't at your level yet, Adam. It's okay, man. It's all right. Never turn your wires together before wire nutting them. Let the wire nut do the job and it'll be more solid. No, I disagree with that. Nasim Inaja, whatever it is. Yeah. You know what sucks about this stupid app is it doesn't tell me what video they're referring to. So sometimes I'm thinking it's the newest video and it's not. And like I then trying to go back through and find the comment to match it to the video so you know which one they're talking about. It makes it difficult sometimes. A three-phase delta with a high leg is grounded between the phases. I could understand that, possibly. Yeah. I don't know. Stump me.
All this is over my head.
I'm not sure on that. I mean, on some stuff I'm pretty decent at, but that's always kind of weird. And I've always kind of wondered on certain things why they do certain things that they do. Was it just they had a leftover transformer? Why did they choose to do it? I guess sometimes it don't bother me enough to find out. So, what else here? Oh, that's cool, Rich. What else we got? Where's, what's his name? He always seems to have something. You know, it'd be interesting if old Throttle Bottle was on here. He always seems to know a little bit about everything. He would probably know. Samuel, what's going on? I haven't seen you for a while. So, yeah, it's just kind of crazy. What else is new in life here? I'm trying to think. You ready for Christmas? Did we talk about that yet? Whether or not you were going to get a family thing going on this year, or are you guys going to stay separated?
We're staying separated. How about you guys?
Well, since we've had it, my dad acts like he's invulnerable, or he's Superman. He's not worried about it, so we'll probably go ahead and do something, I guess. My kids are 19 and 21, so, you know, they should be fine if they get it, so I'm not too worried about it. But who knows? It's, I was watching some things today on it, and I was like, There was this couple people that were, you know, in pretty good health and stuff, and they're healed now, so to speak, but her hair's falling out, you know, several months later. One other guy now is, he's like 49. He's got, you know, he's having problems getting his breath. He's like weaker, and he's got brain fog and all this other crazy crap. And I was curious. I asked her, I said, you know, I haven't worked out for a while. I'm gonna see how many push-ups I can do. And I was like 3 short of what I was doing like 4 months ago. So I'm not like winded or nothing like that, but I do still have the stupid cough. But so it's kind of like, I hopefully don't have anything major and lingering around. But like I've said before, I think this is something that's like a 2-part, 3-part thing that's going to probably come back later. And what don't make sense is, you know, and I've said it before, is, okay, this antivirus, you know, an antivirus is usually a weakened form or a dead form of the cells of the actual real thing. Since I had it, and they say you're only not going to get it for 3 months or so, then how's this antivirus going to work?
You mean the vaccine?
Vaccine, whatever. I'm in video game world.
But
the antivirus.
The vaccine does not have any dead or alive virus in it. All it does is it teaches your own body to make proteins that fight against it. That's it. That's all it does.
Yeah, but like chicken pox, you know, you get it once.
Yes, but that's a different type of vaccine. That's not an mRNA.
Yeah. Corner ground. It's not a corner ground. There we go. We'll just call it at that. So, what else we got going on out there? Hey, Hamilton. Or no, he said Samuel. I feel left out. Everybody's talking to everybody but me. I think I'm going to take my toys and go home. Let's see here.
COVID causes ED?
It does. They're saying that now, too, that it's causing ED.
Oh, great. Hey, we got another call coming in here. It's not local, so it's probably got to be. You're on the air.
Hey, I was just calling in reference to this discussion about the corner grounding.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing as when you take a 24-volt transformer and you bond one side to ground. You make that, which would have been a 12-volt in reference to ground, 0 volts in reference to ground, which makes the other one 24 volts in reference to ground. So if you ever take one and hook it up and don't bond it and take some readings, you'll see that.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I know like some branded manufacturers will do it, and I've always kind of like, I don't know, I kind of don't like it, but I mean, I understand why they're doing it for extra safety, but I always thought that, you know, because you could always kind of tell which leg was your true hot leg, but doing it with high voltage seems like it would, I
There
guess
is no true hot leg until you establish one bonded to ground. They're both 12 volts. So you make that happen. It's just like with the high leg, the reason you're getting different voltages in reference to ground is because essentially the neutral point that's tapped on the transformer is between two of the phases. That's why those ones have 120 to ground and the other one has about 200 volts.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
So it's like I have a basic, somewhat kind of corner grounded system. I looked it up on the internet the same as you guys just did, but it makes sense when you think about how other transformers are grounded and like the Y arrangement where it's grounded in the center, like when you have 208.
I guess the question would be is what would be the benefit of it and why would you do it?
I don't fully understand that.
Yeah, because I haven't understood the high leg either.
You can't really.
My Sparky
I guess
friends.
it was saying you can't do it single phase equipment off of a corner grounded panel. So.
And will they have that
If you're
on
not-
230 volt, or will it only be on like say 460 volt, or does it matter?
I've never seen one. I've only just did about that arrangement. So,
Yeah.
you know, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I mean, around here, the best I get is usually the high leg. And that's about it. But that's about, you know, and then it's very, very selective of where it's at. And I forget. I mean, my one manager was real good at that stuff, and it's been years ago, and he would sometimes explain that stuff. But a lot of times it's just like, well, we got so many other things to learn about. I don't stay focused on every little detail. It's one of the things where I just accept it and move on. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're doing lots of electrical install and service, it would be one thing. But if you know if you're not focusing on that like we aren't, then you just get the basics. But it was pretty interesting. I mean, I've heard of it in the past, and you know, I haven't even thought about it in a long time until the guy brought it up, and I'm like, what the heck's a corner ground? And then it made sense when I looked it up, and I'm like, yeah, I have heard of it. I have not seen it. But I have worked on 240 volt single phase that was wired on a buck and boost transformer where you had a 240 volt, like L1 was 240 to ground because L2 was bonded to ground.
Yeah.
So you'd get the same thing, like L2 would have no reading to ground and L1 would have 240.
Huh. Yeah, it kind of is making sense as I think about it. I think your analogy of the 24 volt relay or the 24 volt transformer makes probably the best sense, because I mean, I've always it's kind of a half-assed way of doing it, but I have removed the ground when I couldn't find the short or whatever, and just to kind of, I don't know, I forget exactly what it was I did it too, but it's not like a normal procedure, but I've done it before because I couldn't find the short or something, or it was a random short that happened every again. And I didn't want their heat going out in the middle of the night. But yeah, it makes sense now. Because like Linux, I don't think Linux was big into grounding it, but Carrier might have been. I know Goodman or somebody like that did it, which was which was kind of weird why they would do it more than anybody else. But yeah, some manufacturers.
Older equipment didn't used to do it, and then they started doing it for whatever reason. I'm not sure all the advantages or disadvantages either way. I just know we typically see it bonded now, and that's just how it is. So
cool. Who are we speaking with?
Some interesting stuff to research. This is Eric.
Eric, okay. Is that what's your screen name?
Eric M.
Eric?
Just Eric? Okay.
Thank you.
So you're saying
I was in the chat with you with Gil.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I appreciate you calling in and stuff. That definitely, every little bit helps. I mean, I try to not ever come across as Mr. Know-It-All, because I surely don't. So, yeah, I'm more than willing to say when I don't know something. So that's one of the things I'm not 100% certain of. Definitely not.
Oh, I'm definitely not 100% on either, but I've dabbled. But yeah, that's it. Now I got more research to do myself, probably like a lot of other people in chat. So.
Yeah, cool, man. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, man. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. So, cool. Awesome.
One thing I don't understand what he was saying is if you take a 24 volt transformer, I was going to ask him this, but you guys started getting off the phone. If you take a 24 volt transformer and you check one side to ground, I've never read 12 volts. If it's not bounded, you know what I mean? Because he said it's basically like two 12 volt transformers.
I mean, if you really think about it, the transformer's not really grounded. Because, I mean, you've got a core and you've got a set of windings here and a winding here. And the only thing that's happening is the flux lines are going from one side of the coil to the other coil, and it's absorbing it through magnetic transfer. And so neither one of those windings are grounded in all reality. They're 100% isolated. So you're just taking one leg of your, because there really is no hot or neutral, or no hot or a neutral or whatever on a transformer. In reality, it really don't matter which leg you pick to choose to be your R. You can take either one of them to ground, and then the other one's going to go through a load source. So, I mean, in theory, because you just take your loop, doom, 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 doom here, and your other one over here. You see what I'm saying? I mean, they're all
I know
isolated.
It doesn't matter which one you pick.
Sure.
Out of a 24 volt, right? It doesn't matter which one you pick. But I was just like thinking about checking the transformer from one of the terminals to ground. I've never seen like a 24 volt transformer read 12 volts. Maybe I was misunderstanding how he was saying it.
I think I know. I think, because you think about it, I mean, it's going to be going probably through earth, ground, and the neutral bar. But when they don't have the same reference point, you know, I don't see it as it being an issue. Kind of like where you can use two transformers, as long as they don't have a shared common, you can have two R's on the circuit without technically isolating them. You can do that as long as they don't share a common or a ground. You can do it without having an issue. You don't have to necessarily use the dedicated RC or RH. I remember my old manager teaching me that long, long ago, but they had to stay isolated. As long as they didn't have a shared ground, if they had that chassis ground, that's when everything went to crap. So, but yeah, I mean, because I mean, if you go to take a transformer next time you're playing around doing a service check and just check that if you take the two leads off the transformer and have them both unhooked from it and go to the ground on the furnace, I mean, I almost could do it now, but you shouldn't really get much of anything. I mean, you might get something stray because, I mean, for example, if you ever take your meter and hold on to one lead with your hand and then take your other one to a hot leg, 120 volts, you'll get like 70 volts, 60 volts, you know, something like that. And it's going through your body. I mean, unless you have insulated shoes, and you can pick something up there. So it's got to go back to that reference point thing, but I can't think of any good way to explain it because I don't 100% have a good explanation.
I mean, it's a super interesting topic. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, just when you think it's like no big deal, it's just hot, you know. I always kind of thought, you know, it's when that's where you get into true electricians that really are doing big stuff and not just basic residential electrical. Because I mean, residential electrical is not really that big of a deal. It's when you get into the industrial and these weird oddities, I think, is when things really get crazy. Yeah. Oh, thanks, JD. I appreciate that. Thanks, man. I think that's where you really see the difference. Because I mean, that, you know, because we used to let pretty much anybody wire a house, you know, with my previous company. When we got slow, you know, anybody could go out and start, you know, drilling holes and making home runs to the individual rooms and start pulling wire and stuff like that. But when we get on some of the commercial stuff and the industrial stuff, that's when we got a couple electricians that have got their state certifications and stuff, and that's where they get into the things that I don't necessarily know. So just don't see it. But
Have you ever done that trick where if you have a short and a 24 volt wire, you know, like your 2-wire running outside, instead of pulling a new wire, if you have a hard time, you can just put the one side to ground. You kind of eliminate one of the wires.
Well, I mean, you'd be fine. You'd have to find which one's technically your leg that's shorting.
Yep.
I mean, I've wired things up to where you know, because, well, like on a car, remember it was positive ground or negative ground? You ever heard that? So I've kind of done the same thing. Like long ago, the cars used to be, the positive of the battery used to go to the chassis ground, and the ground was kind of their switching leg. So kind of like I've done it where I've ran the R, say, straight to the contactor. So if the circuitry is all close together, I've ran the R right to the load side of the coil, and then my switch mechanism was my neutral, and that would run out through the system and then come back. And so worst case scenario, if it was to short to ground, it would just make the relay close instead of blowing the transformer. So, I mean, I've done stuff like that to kind of avoid issues. What?
I found what you can get me for Christmas. It's used. It's a deal.
Yeah. Keep dreaming.
I'm worth it, though.
No, you're not.
Adam, don't you think I'm worth a brand new Piccolo? It's
Yeah.
only $3,699. They're normally
What is
around
gold
they're
plated?
normally- No, this is like half off. They're normally, this brand is like about $7,000.
Her flute's like $6,800, $6,900. And that's a cheap one. Well, I say it's a moderate priced one. They got some that are $20,000.
Yeah, 20 to 30,000. Like if they're all gold, 14 karat gold.
And that's one of the cheaper instruments out there. How much is the Larry's instrument, the bassoon?
Oh, those can be really expensive too.
Yep. So craziness.
You said you need Christmas ideas. I'm trying to help you out.
I was thinking like, some gum or...
I don't chew gum.
Well, that's okay. I do. So...
Oh, Rich said to get me 2.
You'd like a new vacuum pump or a set of torches or something like that.
I can't weld. Sorry.
We can teach you.
Nope, I can't because my stimulator. I can't weld.
Brazing.
Well, I said weld and you agreed.
Brazing is welding.
Ray said his son's cello is $5K. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ones out there. Oh yeah. Okay, JD. I've bought her everything else she's asked for.
It's a piccolo, not a flute.
She doesn't play the piccolo near as much as she does her flute.
And there's a reason for that.
Uh-huh.
Because I need a new piccolo.
Uh-huh.
It's easier to transport. It's like portable.
Problem is that only one person or 2 persons get to play it because it's such a high-pitched instrument. It's so like noticeable.
You're at the top of the pyramid when you play that.
Well, and then they all fight about it, who gets to play it. So.
And what's really sad is the people that really want to play it the most, like really suck on it too, and are really out of pitch and like really out of tune, and it's just horrible. And yet they like.
Your friend Mike could be possibly watching.
No, no. I'm talking about someone completely different.
Oh, okay. Cover up.
No,
gotcha.
no.
Cover
I
up.
am the person I'm thinking of would never, because.
Okay.
No.
She's talking about the other Mike.
No.
No, believe it or not, she actually has a friend that's female that services fireplaces and stuff. And she never done any of that stuff at all before, ever. What did she do before?
Lots of jobs.
Odds and ends. And then all of a sudden, she started working on fireplaces and stuff. So I'm like, cool. Because around here, we don't have that many. So it's like, whatever.
This is some gay guy that's not even a music major that thinks that he can play piccolo, and he can't. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
That's awesome.
It'd be like you trying to play piccolo.
I can at least play a note.
No, you
So,
can't.
Laura, are you going to get the vaccine since you're on the front line?
I saw that. No, actually, probably not, because now they're saying that if you have any type of severe allergies and or even allergic responses to medication and or other vaccines, which I do, I can't get the flu vaccine because I actually get anaphylaxis and my airway actually closes off. So most likely I'm probably not going to get it. I don't think I think it would be a huge contraindication for me.
I'm not in a hurry since I've already had it and I had minimal symptoms. I don't see a reason to right yet. I want to see this thing work and see that there ain't no side effects and problems. I mean, at some point, I want to see some. I mean, I know they did a lot of testing, and for people that have a lot to lose by not doing it, I say go for it and do it. But since I've already done it and had minimal, all I had was a little bit of a fever for a couple hours and a cough. Yeah, I want to make sure it works first. I mean, I'm all about all the other vaccines that have been around forever. I don't like parents that, don't do the obvious stuff like measles, mumps, and stuff like that that's been proven to work. But some of this new stuff, I want to make sure it works first. I know at some point they're going to probably try to force us into it, but yeah. Yeah, I don't blame it. They say it's like 55% are going to do it, or maybe it's 45%. It's a good portion. It's like almost a 50-50 thing that aren't going to do it type deal. So
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, people don't trust nobody right now.
Well, I would say don't trust the government.
No. Or big pharma. I mean, everybody's about the money. Nobody cares.
Or Wall Street.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about the money. JD wants it. He wants my vaccine, and they make it on the next town over. Yep. Crazy stuff. It's crazy train. Got the crazy train going on. Yep. Nope. Don't blame you. So Is there anybody else out there that wanted to call in by chance, had any questions or anything like that, wanted to contribute or anything?
Yes, Joe, and that's cheap. That's on the cheap end of professional models. They go anywhere from 20 to 30,000.
Yep.
No joke.
Yep. Of course, I would have no problem spending that kind of money on audio gear. So, you know.
But you won't buy me a piccolo.
The audio gear made me money. The flute's just for pleasure.
But I actually do make money playing.
$100 here and $200 there. It ain't no money.
Hey, it's still getting paid to blow that flute.
So
You
Yep.
should make a YouTube channel. Play the flute on your YouTube channel.
I've tried to get her to do it. I did buy her guitar. I bought her an Ibanez. I bought her guitar amp. So I mean, there was like almost close to $900 to $1,000. So, and what else did I get?
That's it. I bought my pedal board.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
And I bought my flute.
And your mic, the second mic.
I bought my mic.
But I bought all the audio gear so that I could help out, so that you could be part of the band. So you know. Yep.
Someone wants an explanation of part start compressors.
Okay.
And then JD was asking how long it takes you to make and edit your YouTube videos. All flippin' day, JD.
Honestly.
That's all he could do. He has to sit there the whole time.
Because I don't think out what I'm going to say. So I feel like when I'm recording, I am better off to let it go and all expressions happen and get recorded so that you're hearing what I'm thinking. Like I was listening to Chris's video earlier today and he talked about talking to himself, and it's kind of funny. We must think the same because I do the same thing. I mean, I have no problem asking myself questions and answering myself. I don't think that's crazy. I just think it's a way to run things by yourself. And when you say it out loud, a lot of times you think about it and then you can actually counter it with, you know, your logic. But the video and stuff, I don't think it out a lot of times how I'm going to lay it out. I mean, it just depends on my mood too. I feel like I've got to make a video, and I've been trying to keep on schedule because they say it's a number one rule. I've been trying for Wednesday and Sunday. It started out doing like Thursday and Saturday, and it's like it's so hard when certain things aren't coming in, and it depends on whether or not the situation you're in, whether you can actually get it, whether people are everybody I talk to generally doesn't care, so it's like whatever. So they generally aren't too big of a deal, but I feel like, I'm being rude if I'm talking to the camera nonstop. So it could take all day. It can take sometimes as little as maybe 2 or 3 hours. If I think it out more, I could probably get it done quicker. And, the rendering and stuff like that takes time. I can take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the video. So what? Huh? What?
Said I need to go lay down. I feel like I'm gonna puke.
Awesome. Yep. So, what else? Was there something about the start components, I think? Can we get an explanation of part start compressors? Are we talking like a hard start for like say a little system like a hard start with a potential relay or start relay? Because I mean, basically, you've just got, whether it's neutral or hot leg, one going to common, the other one's getting hooked to run. Your start's the one that's either going to go through the capacitor straight through to it, or it's going to have maybe a regular capacitor there, and you're going to have either your current relay, it's going to pull it into the circuit, or the potential relay, which is going to be done by voltage, and it's going to lift it into, pull the circuit, or actually it's going to open the circuit once the magnetic field builds up because the voltage rises once it's starting to run, and it pulls it out of the circuit. There's a guy on YouTube that did start relays, the 5, 1, and 3, 1 and 2. And he did a really good explanation of it. I'll have to see if I can find that and maybe post it for you. He did a real good one. I thought about doing one myself, but I feel like I'm copying him. So, yeah. She's coaxing the dog away, and she don't want to leave. Other compressors have a lot of them. What else do we got here? Night. 2Y configurations of the motor. Let's see. What?
You suck.
Yeah, she stole the dog. Whatever. She'll be laying with me tonight. she'll stay out there on the chair with me until it's time for me to go to bed. Then she'll lay with her. So, yeah, where are we at here? Holy crap, we're at an hour and 24 minutes already. That's kind of crazy. So, would you recommend the Inficon Stratus residential, or is it overkill? If you got the money, honey, it's got the time. I mean, it's up to you. Either one's good. I mean, I like both of them. The D-Tech 3 was booting up quicker. When they sent me another Stratus, the new one, even though it said the same firmware update, it's now getting warmed up quick as the D-Tech 3. I had one I recorded yesterday or Friday. It picked up a small little R22 leak. So, I mean, I do like the Parch Million to help to kind of reassure myself that it's not a false alarm, but is it worth that much money if I had to pay for it out of my pocket? Because, I mean, I was going to buy it out of my pocket until I talked to them. So that's a lot of money. So, I mean, if you got plenty of money, then go for it. If not, I'll go with D-Tech 3. That's double the cost. I mean, that's just a lot of money. So feel free to jump in there, Adam. Don't be afraid to cut me off.
I've never used one. I only have the H10. I'd like one, but there's a bunch of other tools I'd like to buy too before I need a second leak detector.
I got my H10 inside right now. I turned it on yesterday and let it run, plugged into the wall for about an hour to get my sensor hot and burn off any moisture that it may have been absorbing and stuff, and then finished letting it recharge up and then put it up by the door so I can take it with me. I still use it every now and again. I like double checking things just to see how good it really is. I mean, I'll guarantee you that you're not going to beat the H10 on 22. I mean, that thing is like stupid freaking sensitive on 22. So, what's some of your other cool tools you want to get? Because I'm looking for something else to spend money on. Maybe I should talk to you instead of Chris.
I have like tools that are stupid expensive I want to buy. I want to get the Milwaukee, the battery powered pipe threader.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of them. I would like a blower door. That's another one. There's a bunch of random Milwaukee battery tools and pack out stuff I'd like to get as well too. I hate buying tools, especially Milwaukee, and you're like, oh sweet, I got the newest, latest, and greatest, and like 6 months or a year later, they have one that's like twice as good as whatever you have.
Like the new sweeper. They came out with the new brushless sweeper. I don't think there's a huge difference between that and the second generation, because this technically is like the third generation. But my new one, it's already making a whiny noise because I tried cleaning it out, and sprayed the bottom off. And I think I got water in the motor, and now it has this like whine noise a little bit, which is a little annoying. But I really like that thing. It does really cool.
I want to get the battery powered whole hog. I have the old school corded one.
Mm-hmm.
And, if that thing, there's no clutch on it.
That's the leg breaker.
That will bust you in your face and knock your teeth out.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Or about break your leg.
Yep.
I remember our plumbers used to use that thing, and the electricians, and I know my biodad's got a few of those things, and they're pretty wicked. The corded version. I got to play with the rotary hammer one that was 18 volt. When I ended up was working in the shop that day, that I found out I lost my smell, and I got to drill a couple pilot holes through, and that thing was pretty wicked. And I was kind of like, and
big boy.
Yeah, it was like $350. I mean, just for the tool. So I'm like, Problem is I don't do much residential now, so now I'm not drilling through walls and all that other crap. So it's like, is it worth it for me to spend it? It's just like trying to get into more of the commercial stuff. It kind of eliminates a lot of the tools I'd normally use. So it's like, how do I justify it? I'm already running.
I got big. I think I have the biggest Milwaukee rotary hammer. I think it's like 1 3/4 inches or something like that. But that was an expensive freaking tool. I want to say it's around $1,000 for it, something like that.
Holy crap. Yeah. That's tiny.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Drilling 3.5-inch holes through the side of a brick house or whatever for flue pipe for 3-inch PVC. Just goes right through like butter.
Really? So they've got a couple different rotary hammers then.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the one I seen was probably, I don't know, it had the little motor section. It was probably about yay big around. It was about like that. It wasn't super, super big. You must be getting like one of these monster ones.
Oh, yeah. No, this is a big boy.
Yeah, then that's not the one I used. Yeah, the other one was you know, it was maybe double the size of a normal drill, but it wasn't like stupid crazy big.
You know, one of the reasons why I haven't bought the whole hog yet is because I have like the brushless Milwaukee Fuel 18-volt drill, and a lot of times you could just use that for drilling holes. You don't really need much more than that anymore. You know what I mean?
My Bosch 18, it's the Brute, I think Brute or Brute Force, and it's got a 4-pole motor, brushed motor, and I can run a 2 and 3/8 or 2 1/2, whatever it is. I always call it a whole hog bit because it's got that slice thing where it just pulls out chunks. And that's what I've always used to drill through the sides of a house to run line sets and things like that. And it'll run that thing through no problem. But it does have the anti-bind thing, so it shuts it down. It does pretty good for drilling.
The one trick I had with the old whole hog is if you're drilling a really big hole, like occasionally if you're doing like an ERV or something, you need a 6-inch hole. Run it in reverse with a regular hole sub.
To get it started on vinyl or something like that?
I mean, the whole way through, I'd run in so you just don't knock your teeth out using the thing.
Oh,
you just run in, it cuts fine. The thing runs fast. It has a lot of torque. Yeah. It's just you will not bind it reverse. It's a little bit slower, but it's like safe. You're not going to kill yourself. You know what I mean?
So it's a regular hole saw then, yeah. Okay, yeah. What are they talking about? What's the wood from 1912 is no joke. Never
drill through it. How hard it is.
Oh, wood. Okay. Yeah, that was the real stuff back in the day. Back when they used to. I like the oak beams going through the house they cut down. It's like my grandpa's old house. Freaking had freaking regular. They went out and cut it out of the freaking woods and stuff, and then stripped it and squared up some edges, and that was a floor joist.
What else? There's some cool tools. I was also pissed off because I bought the Navac flaring tool. And it was around for a while, but then like 2 months after I bought it, they had a new version that's better come out.
I was wondering, they have 2 of them. Is that newest one I've seen? It looks a little smaller. Is it better?
I think it's like just watching a video on it. It seems like it's quicker and a little bit I don't know why I'm complaining because the one I have is super awesome and easy to use. But I think the newer one is just a little bit easier to use and less cumbersome.
That's how it usually goes, though. I mean, if we wait around, we'll be retired by the time that, they'll never keep coming out with something new.
It's like buying phones. I want to wait till the next iPhone comes out. It's like, okay, well, there's another one. There'll be another one that comes out 6 months after that. So how long are you going to wait?
Exactly. I mean, like right now, my Note 9, they've got the 20 whatever, and I'm thinking of doing it, but it's like, I don't know, man, $1,200, almost $1,300. I mean, this one's now paid for, but it's like, I always usually get a couple $100 out of my old one, and I put that towards it, so it's not such a big, as bad. But I don't know. I've not been happy with the GoPro lately. I don't think it is clear. It's obviously, there's no way it's not as clear as what my phone is, but the phone is more jittery, and it's not as convenient to hold. So I'm like, because I was going to go with that newest GoPro 9 or Hero 9 or 9. I was going to get it, and then you start reading the reviews on it, and some of the guys are kind of like, I wouldn't waste your money on it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't know. Who knows? But, well, I ain't got pretty much any more major questions out there. Maybe we can wrap this thing up. I told you I wouldn't keep you on here forever, and we're already at an hour and 35 minutes or so. But I do appreciate you coming on and stuff. I definitely appreciate that because it makes it a lot easier and things, especially if she wasn't going to come on and she felt sorry for me because I suck by myself. So,
I was in here. I wasn't talking enough for her. I wasn't entertaining.
You're doing great, man. I appreciate that. So makes it easy. If you guys would, go ahead and smack your thumb on the way out there. Maybe make that little number go a little higher if you can. I haven't had a chance to check it to even see where we're at on it. Have to take a peek here real quick. Where are we at here? I thought I'd be down here in time. We was still finishing up the pizza and salad stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'll have no problems getting this thing ready. And then the computer was locking up, but I found out, obviously it wasn't plugged in and stuff. So it's like, that's what was going on. And we've got, do we even have it? Yeah, we got 49 thumbs. That ain't too bad. We got one down. That's not bad either. Not bad. Kind of don't mind it anymore. So it's awesome. Well, man, you got anything else for me?
No. As soon as I get up, I'm hitting the hay.
All right, cool. I appreciate you sticking around with me. I'm sorry if I kept you longer than I promised you, so I'll try to get you out of here. So I appreciate you, everyone coming in tonight, guys. Hopefully I'll have you another video on Wednesday and probably one on Sunday again. And as usual, around 8:30 Eastern time here on Sunday evenings, we'll try to come back at you and answer any of your questions and stuff. I appreciate everyone stopping in. I didn't want to let you guys down because, to be honest with you, neither one of us felt like doing it tonight, but I didn't want to let anyone down. So I was here and at least wanted to pull something off for you guys. So hopefully it wasn't too bad. But other than that, guys, thanks again for coming in. Adam, thank you for coming in. And until next time, guys, I will catch you guys on the next one. See if I can find my spot here. There we go. So, and we'll do it to here. So take care, guys. We will.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thanks
Later.
now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I want to see motion, movement. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay?
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.